5 foods that reverse. Type 2 diabetes, glucose, expert reveals. All stop taking more medication for type 2 diabetes. What if I told you that 1 billion people worldwide are suffering from a completely reversible condition, and the solution isn't in a pharmacy, it's in your kitchen? Give me just 60 seconds to reveal the 5 foods that can put type 2 diabetes into remission, reduce glucose spikes by 75%, and restore your insulin sensitivity naturally. This isn't about managing symptoms. This is about reversing the disease at its root cause through simple changes in how and what you eat. The 5th food on this list will absolutely shock you. Right now, 1 billion people on this planet have either type 2 diabetes or prediabetes. That's a staggering number, representing an epidemic of metabolic dysfunction. And here's what most people don't understand. Type 2 diabetes isn't a life sentence. It's not a genetic inevitability you have to accept. It's a condition driven primarily by insulin resistance, and insulin resistance is reversible through dietary intervention. If you're willing to change how you eat, you can put this condition into remission without relying on endless medications. But first, you need to understand what's actually happening in your body when you have insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes. When you eat starches like bread, pasta, rice, potatoes, and oats, or when you eat sugars from anything sweet. Whether it's an apple or a slice of chocolate cake, these foods break down into glucose in your digestive system. That glucose enters your bloodstream, causing your blood sugar levels to spike. Your body knows that big glucose spikes are dangerous. They damage your blood vessels, your nerves, your organs. So your pancreas releases insulin, a storage hormone that grabs all that excess glucose and stores it away in your liver, your muscles, and your fat cells. This is normal and healthy when it happens occasionally. But when you're constantly eating high-carb, high-sugar foods throughout the day, every day, your body is flooded with insulin continuously. Think of it like watering a plant. The plant needs some water to live and thrive. But if you constantly overwater it, drowning it day after day, the plant will die. Your body is the same. Some glucose is fine. Your cells need it for energy. But too much glucose, too often, and serious problems develop. When there's chronically high levels of insulin in your body, your cells start becoming resistant to insulin's signal. They stop responding. This is insulin resistance. When you're insulin resistant, your pancreas has to produce even more insulin to force glucose into your cells. You end up with high glucose levels and dangerously high insulin levels at the same time. This combination leads to weight gain, especially around your midsection, constant hunger and cravings, fatigue after meals, brain fog, and eventually full-blown type 2 diabetes. And if left unchecked, type 2 diabetes leads to heart disease, dementia, depression, nerve damage, vision loss, kidney failure, and even leg amputation. But here's the critical insight. If too much glucose and too much insulin created insulin resistance in the first place, then flattening glucose spikes through food is how you reverse it. You don't need more medication. You need to change what you eat and how you eat it. Let me reveal the 5 diabetes reversal foods that make this possible. Diabetes reversal. Food number 1 is the natural insulin shield, and this isn't even a specific food. It's a way of eating that can reduce your glucose spikes by up to 75% without changing what you eat or how much you eat. Just the order. This is revolutionary. Eat your food in the right order. Vegetables first, proteins and fats second, starches and sugars last. Why does this work? The fiber in vegetables forms a protective gel-like mesh in your intestines when you eat them first. This mesh stays in place throughout the rest of your meal, slowing down how quickly glucose enters your bloodstream from the other foods you eat. It's like creating a shield that buffers the impact of carbohydrates and sugars. The most powerful vegetables for this purpose include artichoke, asparagus, eggplant, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, carrots, cauliflower, collard greens, zucchini, green beans, kale, kimchi, lettuce, mushrooms, olives, onions, peppers, pickles, radishes, spinach, Swiss chard, and tomatoes. Any of these vegetables eaten first will provide this protective effect. Let's say you're eating a meal with fish, broccoli, pasta, olive oil, avocado, and a cookie. The right order for stable glucose levels is broccoli first, then the fish with the olive oil and avocado, and finally the pasta and cookie. Make vegetables about 30% of your meal. They can be raw or cooked, and you can make them delicious with olive oil, vinegar, lemon, cheese, whatever you like. The key is eating them first, before anything else touches your lips. This single hack is incredibly powerful for people who suffer from afternoon cravings or energy crashes. When you eat in the right order, your glucose stays stable, your insulin stays low, and you feel satisfied for hours instead of constantly searching for snacks. Diabetes reversal food number 2 is protein, and this is especially critical at breakfast. Your entire day's glucose stability is determined by your very first meal. If you start your day with sugar, you're setting yourself up for a roller coaster of spikes and crashes, cravings and fatigue all day long. But if you start with a savory breakfast containing protein, you stabilize everything. A proper diabetes-reversing breakfast should contain protein like eggs, fish, meat, Greek yogurt, or protein powder. Add some healthy fat like avocado or butter. Include fiber if you want to add some vegetables. Any bread, potatoes, or starches should be minimal, just for taste, not the centerpiece. And crucially, nothing sweet. No fruit, no juice, no cereal, no pastries. What kind of protein works best? Eggs are excellent and versatile. Meat, cheese, and fish provide high-quality animal protein. If you don't eat animal products, you can get protein from nuts like almonds, Brazil nuts, and cashews, or from beans, lentils, and peas. The key is making protein the star of your breakfast, not an afterthought. A real example of a diabetes-friendly breakfast would be scrambled eggs with butter, feta cheese, and cherry tomatoes, or Greek yogurt with nuts and a small amount of berries, or leftover fish and vegetables from dinner. These meals keep your glucose flat, reduce the hunger hormone ghrelin, and give you steady energy for hours. Scientific studies show that when you eat the right breakfast and follow the food order rule, ghrelin stays suppressed for 4 to 5 hours instead of just 2.5 hours. This means you're genuinely not hungry. You're not white-knuckling it through cravings. You're physiologically satisfied because your hormones are balanced. This approach can lower fasting glucose levels by 18 points within just 2 months, without counting calories or following complicated diet plans. That could take someone from diabetic fasting glucose of 120 down to 102, which is barely even pre-diabetic anymore, almost normal and healthy. Diabetes reversal food number 3 is a special type of fruit, and this revelation is shocking. That healthy fruit juice you've been drinking? It spikes your glucose and insulin just like a can of Coca-Cola. Modern fruit has been bred for thousands of years to be extra sweet and juicy. An apple today contains far more sugar than an apple from even 100 years ago. But as long as you eat the whole fruit with all its fiber intact, it's still the best sweet option because that fiber slows glucose absorption. The problem starts when we destroy that fiber by juicing, blending, drying, or pureeing the fruit. When you juice an apple, you're removing all the protective fiber and concentrating all the sugar into liquid form. You're essentially drinking the sugar content of 2 apples in a few seconds, causing a massive glucose spike. And here's the truth most people don't want to hear. Your body doesn't care whether that sugar came from an apple or from Coca-Cola. The sugar molecules are identical. Your body responds the same way to both. A glass of fruit juice contains almost as much sugar as a can of Coke. Fruit juice is not a health food. It's dessert. Drink it for pleasure if you want, but understand it's spiking your glucose and insulin dramatically. Not all fruits are equal, though. The best fruits for diabetes reversal are berries, especially blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries. Also good are pears, apricots, and avocados. These fruits are packed with vitamins, phytonutrients, and minerals, while spiking glucose the least. Avoid or minimize tropical fruits like bananas, grapes, oranges, mangoes, and pineapples, which contain excessive sugar and trigger carb cravings. Diabetes reversal food number 4 is vinegar. And this might be the strangest but most powerful hack you've ever heard. 1 tablespoon of vinegar in a tall glass of water before a meal can reduce the glucose spike of that meal by up to 30% and the insulin spike by up to 20%. This is massive for diabetes reversal. How does vinegar work? It contains acetic acid, which does 2 important things. First, It slows down how quickly starches break down into glucose molecules during digestion, instead of bread rapidly converting to glucose and flooding your bloodstream. The process happens more slowly, reducing the spike. Second, acetic acid tells your muscles to actively soak up glucose as it enters your bloodstream, pulling it out of circulation quickly. You don't need fancy apple cider vinegar supplements. Just mix 1 tablespoon of any vinegar, apple cider, red wine, balsamic, whatever you have, in a tall glass of water and drink it 10 to 20 minutes before a carb-heavy meal. It's simple, cheap, and scientifically proven to flatten glucose spikes. Diabetes reversal food number 5 is good fats added to carbs. And yes, this means you can still eat foods you love while flattening the glucose spike. This is called putting clothes on your carbs. When you eat starches and sugars, add protein, fat, or fiber to them. For example, if you're eating chocolate cake, have it with Greek yogurt. The fat and protein in the yogurt slow down how quickly the sugar from the cake enters your bloodstream. The best fats for diabetes reversal are avocado, butter, coconut milk, ghee, and olive oil. Avoid highly processed vegetable oils like corn oil, cottonseed oil, grapeseed oil, and sunflower oil. These oils are inflammatory and become toxic when heated to high temperatures. They worsen insulin resistance instead of improving it. A perfect diabetes-reversing lunch would be a large salad with spinach and mixed vegetables, quinoa for some healthy carbs, salmon for protein, avocado and olive oil for healthy fats, and a vinegar-based dressing. This combination provides everything your body needs while keeping glucose and insulin flat. When eating at a restaurant, follow this strategy. Start with a vegetable-based appetizer to get that protective fiber first. Order a protein-based main dish like fish or meat. If you want carbs, order them as a side dish and save them for last after you've eaten your vegetables and protein. This way you get all the enjoyment of the carbs with minimal glucose impact. This is how you reverse type 2 diabetes. Not through more medication, not through deprivation, but through understanding how food affects your glucose and insulin, and making strategic choices that work with your body instead of against it. Start implementing these 5 foods and strategies today. Your pancreas will thank you, your energy will stabilize, your cravings will disappear, and your blood sugar will normalize. Comment below and tell me which of these 5 strategies you're going to implement first. Share this video with anyone struggling with diabetes or pre-diabetes. Subscribe for more evidence-based metabolic health content. Your health is in your hands. Take control starting now.